it was such a beautiful sight to see, you know what I'm saying? I mean, to watch somebody not give up, to watch somebody care enough to action. You know, it's one thing to care, right? And you say, oh, wow, that's sad, or that's tragic, or, oh, you know, if there's something I could do. It's a whole nother thing to go to the next level to say, I'm gonna get you some help. I'm going to try to get other people involved, and I'm going to do my part to make sure I can try to accommodate you and make you comfortable, to let you know that someone does care and that you are loved. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to stop until there's some results. I'm going to hold on the phone until I get someone. I'm going to wait here until someone comes, or I'm going to take you to where you need to be. And this cat was struggling. You know what I'm saying? This cat was, I mean, dude looked like he was on his last leg, for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I saw it and I felt bad. And so, you know, when I saw it, it moved me to say, okay, let me get dude something to eat. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he ain't got no strength. Maybe he's just hungry. You know what I'm saying? Just need to eat something, and maybe that'll help revitalize him. And so, you know, I went inside, brought him out something to eat. You did? And, you know, and he ate it. I mean, he didn't eat all right then, you know what I'm saying? But he ate a little bit. And then, you know, I guess he was full. He was chilling for a minute. And then, you know, at some point, you know, he came back and finished the rest. So I felt good about that. But then I had went about my business, right? Thinking, okay, yeah, you know, I did my good deed. You know, I saw someone that was in need and I tried to help them out. But that wasn't it. See, all I had did was scratch the surface. You know what I'm saying? All I had did was just barely enough. And I'm thinking that in my mind, in my head, okay, maybe I've done something. But I hadn't did nothing, because someone else that came along and they got my attention. They said, yo, somebody need help. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because I was sitting in my car, you know, I was on my break. And it's like, yo. And they was getting my attention, so they got my attention. They said, look like there's an issue in the road. Do you think you can address the issue? And I'm looking for my car like, what are you talking about? I don't see nothing from where I'm sitting. I don't see nothing. And so I finally opened my door, because I'm on my break again, but they wouldn't let me alone. I opened my door and I look over and I'm like, what's up? They said, in the street right there. Do you think you can handle that? So I'm like, okay. So I get out of my car. Again, it's on my break, but I'm trying to be nice and be respectful and try to be helpful and not be standoffish. Like, you know, look, I ain't got time for it. I'm on my break. You giving me later. So I get out of the car, right? Because there was a tree in my way. I couldn't see what they were talking about. So I get out of the car and I step around and I look at, what are you talking about? I look in the street now. Oh, snap. I saw what they were talking about. You dig? And so when I realized what they were talking about, you know, immediately I went into, okay, let me reassess the situation. Because see, I thought I had addressed the situation before, but maybe I didn't approach it the right way. Maybe what I did apparently obviously wasn't enough. So there needs more to be done, right? So after assessing the situation, and then the person kind of came over to me and we started talking about, you know, what we could do and, you know, what could possibly be done within our power, within our strength. Then I said, well, hey, look, let me go up front and let admin know what's going on, that we got a situation back here, and that maybe they can make some phone calls, you know, and see if we can't alleviate the issue. So I went up to admin and told them what was going on, and even though, you know, it wasn't necessarily their problem, but yet I didn't leave it at that, right? I didn't take it as, okay, I did my part. I called admin, they'll handle it from here, and extra stage left. No, I didn't do that. I didn't leave it up to admin to handle it because of the aura that I was getting, the energy that I was getting. So I said, you know what? This needs to be handled. And so as I went back outside to talk to the other lady that was there, that had never gave up, and that was, was destined to get some help and some answers. So I went back to her, told her what was going on, let her know I notified, the folks, and hopefully they make some phone calls, but maybe we can make some phone calls. And she was like, oh, I'm already on it. I'm already been called, whoop, 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 and seeing if they can't, get someone down here so we can get some assistance and get some help. You dig? And so after a while, what happened was I said, well, I don't know what more I can do, and my break is over. I got to go back inside the building. I got to go back to work. And she was like, well, I'm not gonna leave them out here, by themselves. So I'm gonna stay out here with them. And I said, well, I'll come back out and check on you just to make sure you're okay. And so I went back in the building, and it's like, the whole situation wouldn't leave me alone. So, I stopped working for a hot second, got a bowl with some water, put some ice in it, right, and took out there to where she was at. And I said, hey, maybe this will help, having some nice cold water, you did. It's always revitalizing and refreshing, and maybe they just need to be refreshed. So after that, I cut back inside, right? And then I remembered, I went back to work, and I remembered, wait a minute, I still had some more food left in the refrigerator, right? Let me go heat that up. Let me go take that outside. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. When we got the food, threw it in the microwave, took it outside, and I took that food outside. Man, he tore that food up. I mean, like, I had never gave him no food earlier. You know what I'm saying? But he tore that food up like it was nobody's business. Then all of a sudden, he kind of started getting a little life, a little, getting revitalized. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of up. You know what I'm saying? And then she was like, hey, do you think you got, I'm tired of waiting on these people, and I'm not sure if they're going to come and get him the help he needs. Do you think you could assist me to get him in my car? Help me get him on my car. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So, I went and, got some gloves, put some gloves on, of course, and, got a big towel and everything. And so I assisted her, getting the old boy in her car. And then after that, she rolled on. I kind of gave her a wave, like, in solidarity. But I did tell her before she left, I said, I'm so proud of you. You are the epitome of what a good Samaritan should look like. I said, now, I thought I was doing something by helping them out earlier. But apparently, that wasn't enough. Wasn't hardly enough. You did? And so, but when you came along, you wouldn't give up. You wouldn't let go. You wouldn't take no for an answer, even to the point to where you had to get involved and you took them to where they needed to be so they could get what they needed. You did? And I made sure I told her that I thought that was a beautiful thing and she needed to be commended for that. You dig? But it was a beautiful story, and the way it all unfolded, it's just how God just was showing me some lessons within the story, you dig? And I'm gonna share those with you guys. Now, for the sake of just saying, dude or homeboy, or, for the sake of saying stuff like that, I'll just call dude Benny. We'll just say homeboy's name was Benny, all right? Is Benny dying? That was the question that we found ourselves asking. Is Benny dying? Is this really happening in real time? You know what I'm saying? And we both were like, oh my God, we think Benny is dying, right? And then, but something in me was like, nah, Benny ain't dying. Benny he's still living. He still got life. Benny just chilling right now. Maybe he's just a little tired. Maybe he just, and she kept saying, no, I think he's dying. Cause he was twitching and, and he was all that. She's like, I think he's dying. I'm like, I didn't say out loud like, no, he's not. But in my mind, I was like, nah, I don't think Benny is dying, man. I just think he just, she was like, well, maybe he got hit. I'm like, nah, I seen Benny walking. Benny walked just fine. You know what I'm saying? Benny just seemed like he's exhausted. Like he has no strength. Like he ain't ate in 4 or 5 days. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can't move no more. Even if I want to move, I can't. It was like that. So I was like, no, I don't think Benny dead. And so she was like, well, you think we can give him something to eat? I'm like, well, I'd already got him something to eat earlier. And he kind of half ate that. I said, well, you know, I guess I can bring the rest of my little food out that I didn't eat. You know, I was wondering why God didn't have me eat that food. But, so I said, yeah, I can bring the rest of the food out that I didn't eat. You know, so I went and got the food and I heated it up, you know, tore the meat off the bones and all kind of stuff with some chicken, you know what I'm saying? And then I put it on a little plate and I took it out there. And I walked away, right? I just kind of set it down there next to him, and she was right there. And I walked away, and because he wasn't even, you know, when I went out there with the food, he was barely kind of, you know, standing. And he was drinking the water. He was drinking it slow. It took a minute, but he was drinking that water. It was revitalizing him, right? It had a little ice in it. It was hot outside. And so the water was doing him wonders, right? And God gave me a whole nother revelation just on being replenished, being revitalized. You dig? Being rejuvenated. He gave me a whole nother word on that. But after that, I started to walk away, right? And next thing you know, she said, he's eating it, he's eating it. And I turned around and gave her a thumbs up because I had to get back in the building. But he was eating that food. She said, oh my God, he's eating it like he ain't had no food. Yeah, in the back of my mind, I was saying, yeah, he probably ain't eaten about a week. That's what he needed, some sustenance. You know, he had no energy because he had no sustenance. You know, he had no life. He was drained because he needed to be replenished. You did? And God was telling me that's how we do sometimes. When we haven't been refilled with His Spirit, when we haven't been replenished with His Word, when we haven't took the time to meditate and to study and to go in, you know, turn the cell phone off, turn social media off, turn the TV off, turn the radio off, and just go in. Just go in, you and God. You dig? That's where we can be replenished. That's where we can be revitalized. That's where we can be rejuvenated. We got to isolate, right? When you isolate, then you can get revelation. When you get revelation, then you can be rejuvenated. You dig? Isolate, revelate, rejuvenate. I say it again. Isolation, revelation, rejuvenation. You know what I'm saying? That is exactly what we need to do from time to time. And that's what Benny needed, y'all. Benny needed to be revealed some things to him, right? He needed some revelation. And then after the revelation, he needed to be rejuvenated, revitalized, reinvigorated. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we need to do it. We need to get with God and isolate. Isolate from everybody, turn off everything. It's just us and God. And when we isolate, that isolate process will bring about revelation. Yeah, when we go into an isolation mode and we shut everything down and shut everybody out and it's just us and God, that isolation will take us into revelation. God will start revealing some things about us. He'll start revealing some things about our situation and our circumstances, where He's got us headed and where we're going. He'll start revealing some things about things around us and people around us and what we need to do to get ahead and be beneficial, what we need to do to prosper and to live in an abundance. Yeah, see, that isolation will bring revelation. And once you've got the revelation, then we'll be rejuvenated. Once it's been revealed to us what we need to do, how we need to do it, when we need to do it, where we need to do it, and who we need to do it with, that's when the rejuvenation will come. That's when the replenishment will come. That's when the energy flow will start back again. You dig? You got to isolate and then get the revelation. Isolation leads to revelation, and the revelation will lead to rejuvenation. Facts. This is what happened to Benny. See, Benny had been isolated for a long time. That's why he was struggling. He was in trouble. You dig? He probably got to the point to where he was like, I'm good. I'm cool. I'm just gonna lay right here. You know what I'm saying? I can't move. I can't go no further. So I'm just gonna lay right here, man. I'm just so tired. I'm just gonna close my eyes for a minute. I really believe Benny had given up. I really do. I believe Benny had given up in his spirit. He's like, I'm just like the lady said, I'm just gonna make me and my son these last cakes before we get ready to die. 1 Kings 17, verses 13 through 24. Read it. He had given up, you dig? But when I came out there and I gave him a little food, and he smelled the food. Yeah, even though he might have given up in his mind, but his senses wasn't gone. His smell wasn't dead, you dig? He smelled that food and he had just enough strength to get over there and nibble and eat on that food, you dig? But the food kind of gave him a little rejuvenation. After he ate the food, he got up and he walked from the street onto the grass. And then he was just sitting up under the shade for a minute, right? And after he was sitting up under the grass, then he kind of waddled some more. But by the time he got to the street again, homeboy was Benny was gassed. He had no more energy and strength left. And he was just like bumping. I'm finna sit right here in the middle of the street. I ain't moving. I don't care about who coming, cars, trucks, but it don't matter. I'm finna sit right here. I ain't moving. I just don't have it. I ain't got it, right? The next thing you know, after Benny he laid in the street, then he laid down. And I think Benny had got hit. He got back into that mode of, man, I thought somebody cared. I thought somebody loved me enough to see about me. And then, God, is this what you doing, God? Have you brought me this far just to leave me here like this? Isn't this what we say to God? Isn't that how we do, God? We'll say, God, have you brought me this far just to leave me like this? Right? And I believe that's what Benny was saying, because I believe Benny had given up, right? He was just about to, he was like, man, if this is what it is, this is what it is. I love how God loves us so much. He cares about us. He doesn't just leave us. He didn't leave us hanging. I know sometimes we feel like God done left us hanging out there. And it's been a long time since he's came and checked on us. It's been a minute since he's, worked a miracle in our life. But trust me and believe me, he ain't forgot about us. He didn't forget about Benny that day. You dig? Because when that lady stopped and she said, hey, can you look at what's in the middle of the road? And I couldn't see, but when I got out and I looked, I saw it was Benny. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I think he's just chilling. She's like, no, I think he's dying. And I'm like, nah, I think he's just chilling. She's like, no, I think he's dying. Look, he's laying, he's not moving. He's not moving when cars come. So as I walked over and I kind of looked down, I looked over at Benny and I was like, hey, Benny, what's up, man? You good? You all right, dude? And then, he kind of lifted up his head and kind of, twitched a little bit. And I said, see, he ain't dead. He all right. He all right, but he wasn't all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking he's all right. But this is how the world does. When people are in trouble and we give them a little assistance and we think, oh, they'll be all right. And then we walk on and go on our business. But Benny wasn't all right. Benny needed some TLC. Because if nobody would have cared enough, I believe Benny would have died yesterday. But because she had enough love in her heart to say, nah, that don't seem right. Let me, I'm a park. I'm gonna come over. And so she came over, you know what I'm saying? And she was talking to Benny and she was tending to him and all that, you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't really in the mood, you know what I'm saying? But I can understand if you tired and you on your last leg and in your mind, you've given up. You have given up. There's no hope. And then someone comes trying to speak life and speak hope into you. Initially, you ain't trying to hear that because you've already made up in your mind what it is. But when a person won't give up on you, when they keep going, and they're not going to let you give up on yourself. Do you know anybody? Do you have somebody like that in your life that's not going to give up on you and they're not going to let you give up on you? She was like that with Benny, you did? She wasn't going to let Benny give up on himself, and she wasn't about to let me give up on him, you feel me? So within all of that, after bringing the water and the food and, you know, and letting certain people know what was going on so they can make the proper phone calls to the authorities and things like that, she basically said, I'm not waiting. I don't know how long it's going to be for somebody to get here to be able to help. I'm not going to wait. Can you help assist get him in my car? And I'm going to go get him some help. And I was like, yeah, I can help you. Hold on. So, you know, I went and got some gloves, got a towel and everything, got a little box, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I had to put the towel over Benny's head because, you know, he was a little, you know, feisty and probably tired. And I understandable, you know, and I wasn't trying to get bit, you know what I'm saying? Even though Benny's teeth was all jacked up in his mouth, you feel me? Just whoever had him, they didn't take care of him. He looked like he was just abused as far as not beaten, but just not taken care of well. Whoever had him didn't take care of him. They didn't see about him, you know, they didn't get him checked up and stuff like that. So anyway, you know, I finally scooped him up, was able to get him, put him in the box, and then, you know, put the box in her car. And I'm telling you, it was like God allowed me to see night and day. It was like from the moment I put him in the box, he was like his whole disposition had changed. Like, is this really happening? Does someone really care enough to help me? Does someone really care enough and have enough love to see about me? Me? Little old me. Not only do they care enough to care for me and to see about me, but they're actually going to take me to get me the help I need? Man, is this really happening right now? And that's how I kind of felt what Benny was thinking and feeling. Now, he didn't say that. I couldn't read his mind, but I really kind of felt that he was like, is this really happening? And then as I walked on back into the building, the lady drove off, you know, and I just kind of threw a, you know, wave like that. And I was just thinking, how many Bennies are there out there in the world that just need someone to love them enough and care about them enough to get them some help? Not settle with, you know, I'll do what I can, or not settle with, well, you know, I made a phone call and hopefully people are on their way and they're going to come take care of you. But caring to the point to where you're willing to stay. And if it's taking too long, you're willing to go the extra mile. See, this is what it talks about in Corinthians, you know, chapter 13, the love chapter. This is what it talks about sacrificing and going the extra mile. You know, when you're willing to go the extra mile to where I'm going to make sure you get the help that you need. It kind of reminded me of the Good Samaritan and how not only did he just help this person on the side of the road, but they helped them and they nursed them and they got them some help. And then not only they got them some help, they came back and checked on them. Check out Luke 10, 25 through 37. Talks about the Good Samaritan. Read it. So, understand that Benny is a dog. But how many Bennies, humans, is it that's out there that are down on their luck, that are starving, that have no energy, and they're about ready to give up in their mind because they feel like no one cares and no one loves them and they don't know where to go and they don't know what else to do. And they basically have thrown in the towel. And all they need is one person. One person not to give up. One person to say, I got you. One person to say, I'm going to hang with you and I'm going to make sure you get the help you need. One person to say, let me get you to the place where you need so you can get some help. It's just one person could be that to a Benny out there. Now I understand that Benny got to want the help. Benny's got to accept the help. You know what I'm saying? But there's a whole lot of Bennies out there that do want help and they will accept the help, but they're not trusting because they've been kicked and abused and beaten so much. Everybody just looked at them and watched them struggle and go through, and no one's stopped to lend a helping hand, to give them something to eat, to give them some water. You know what I'm saying? To ask them, are they okay? Is there anything I can do for you? So just as much love as we have for animals, let's show our fellow man, our fellow human being, the same kind of love. You dig? The same kind of love that was shown to Benny, the dog, we need to show to Benny, the man. You dig? I just want to share that story with you on this Faith Over Fear Friday. You dig? This just happened yesterday, y'all. And I was so blessed to be able to see it, and as God unfolded it to me, to be able to understand. You know what I'm saying? If we could show that much kind of love to animals, why can't we show the same kind of love to one another, especially those that are doing bad? It's your man, Levon. Remember, leave a comment down below. Post a comment about how God has blessed you to walk in your faith over fear, and how you want to be able to show others how to walk in their faith over fear. You dig? Be blessed on today. Remember, Lamella E, love, uplift, motivate, inspire, learn, laugh, encourage, and enlighten. Please hit that bell notification so you're always notified whenever I upload content. Also, subscribe to the channel. It costs you a thing to do that. Like and share this video, and check out some of the other videos on this channel. Your man, Levon. I'm out.